Howdy, kids. How do? If this scene does not look familiar to you, at least on my channel, it's for good reason. We are in Gettysburg expert territory. And as I've mentioned before, I don't fall into that category yet. Emphasis on yet. We are at the Wheatfield. A scene of horrific death and agony. I'll take you up to a monument up here real quick. Just kind of give you a lay of the area. Of course, you don't see any wheat growing now, and it is my hope that in time maybe we will. The Park Service and you know, the ABT and other such preservation organizations always talk about how they want to restore battlefields to their original appearance. So my question is, where's the wheat? I'm really not trying to be a smartass. If we're going to restore things to their original appearance, it would be nice to see some tall wheatgrass here, in my opinion. They may have their reasons for not doing so. Basically, Little Round Top is off in that direction, to the south and slightly west. I'm sorry, slightly east. If we look in this direction, basically where we just came from, we're looking more or less directly south. That would mean, of course, Cemetery Hill is way over yonder. So this monument is to Battery D, 1st New York Light Artillery, Artillery Brigade 3rd Corps. Once again, there's that seal. There are the scales of justice, the sword, the eagle. As I pointed out before, those symbols are not for nothing. This battery, Winslow's, held this position during the afternoon of July the 2nd, 1863. Casualties 10 wounded, 8 missing. Mustered in September 6th, 1861. Engaged in 32 battles. Mustered out June 16th, 1865. And there are plenty of other monuments in the area, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to keep it moving. That tall one there with the eagle on top is almost certainly to New York. New York has a lot of real estate around here. But in a nutshell, guys, in a nutshell, again, I'm not a battlefield guide, and I'm certainly no expert on the Wheatfield. As some of you know, I've studied the first day's battles quite a fair bit. You know, a bit of the second day I can tell you quite a bit about, including Devil's Den, Little Round Top, Culp's Hill. Basically everything but the Wheatfield. The Wheatfield is known colloquially as the whirlpool of death, and that's for good reason. It's a very fitting analogy. that's exactly what it was. It was a vortex of death. There were somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 casualties in this one spot. Well, okay, this is the bulk of the wheat field where we are now. It kind of also extends over there where you see these monuments as well. For more reference, the peach orchard is just up there. And all this fighting, all right, not really Devil's Den or Little Round Top, okay, but much of the earlier fighting on the second day, Rose's Woods, the peach orchard, and the wheat field, all kind of happened like in a domino sequence. And these are the direct result of that dastardly Dan Sickles, who advanced from Little Round Top, his original position. So, since I am not the expert on this part of the battle, I'm just going to go over a little signage here with you. Whirlpool of death. In the summer of 1863, the golden wheat grew tall here, but at 4:30 p.m. on July 2nd, the wheat field was transformed into a whirlpool of death. Over a period of 2.5 hours, this ground changed hands 6 times as Confederates of Longstreet's corps attempted to smash the loosely knit Union line. Loosely knit, of course, because of Dan Sickles. So it changed hands 6 times. That's what we call a seesaw battle. You know, went back and forth. You know, troops were pushed back and then they gained ground. They were pushed back some more and then they gained ground. Confederate attackers came from your rear and left. Union reinforcements moved into the area from your front and right. Soldiers found ready-made defenses at the stone wall behind you and on the stony hill to your left. As the day and fighting ended, the dead and wounded lay together on the trampled, blood-soaked wheat. Confederates took the wheat field, but casualties an estimated 6,000 to 7,000. See, I'm not the expert. I think I said 5,000 to 6,000. 6,000 to 7,000 on both sides collectively were devastating. Love these paintings. Really kind of helps you picture things. 4:30 p.m. Confederate troops attacked. The Trobriand's Union defenders fell back after fierce fighting. So we've got Hood here, of course, who was knocked out at the Devil's Den early on. 5:30 p.m. and this is just representing his division. Okay, he was knocked out. 5:30 p.m. Union reinforcements temporarily pushed Confederates back to the edge of the Rose Woods. Rose Woods would be over here. 6:30 p.m. Confederate reinforcements finally forced Union troops from the bloody wheat field. Right here, the whirlpool of death, the vortex of horror. Of course, they went on to try to take Little Round Top and were unsuccessful. So, guys, that's a very, very cursory overview of the wheat field. If you would like an actual, a good interpretation and an explanation of the events between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. on day 2, I would recommend you to a couple well-known organizations who you can refer to. One would be the National Park Service, and the other would be the American Battlefield Trust. They have tons of videos, guys. That's no secret. Tons of videos online, which I wholeheartedly invite you to check out. Most especially concerning the wheat field, because there is a big cast of actors. There was just so much action. Again, it was not a neat little battle, but it just it was utter confusion and chaos. You know, it just went back and forth and back and forth, and it's really hard to articulate point by point, action by action, step by step. But there are some experts who can do that for you. I already mentioned a couple. You know, the emerging Civil War would be another. Addressing Gettysburg, Matt, I'm sure, has covered this a bit as well. So check out some of those videos, or maybe I'll try to find a good one that I like and link it for you. Till the next one.